This hour, we got more breaking news. A meeting last night of several high-level Trump administration officials that had been supposed to be held at the vice president's residence. It was moved to the White House after extensive news coverage. Vice President J.D. Vance was joined at the meeting by the White House Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles, FBI Director Kash Patel, Attorney General Pam Bondi, and Assistant Attorney General Todd Blanche. Blanche, who formerly was Donald Trump's personal attorney, met with Epstein accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell last month, and the White House is actively considering releasing an audio recording or transcripts of the interview. CNN legal analyst Elliot Williams joins the panel now. Elliot, welcome back.
Hi.
I'm trying to figure out what percentage of the segments we have done together in the last several weeks have been on this exact
a lot.
topic.
This and Taylor Swift, I think those are the two.
But when the White House is weighing this, right? I mean, first of all, we know there's a lot of division among this group of people, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel. It doesn't sound like Dan Bongino, or at least he's not on the list that we just read through, but there's definitely been tension there.
Yeah.
Are there any legal problems or challenges with releasing a transcript like the one of Blanche and Ghislaine Maxwell? How are you even thinking about this?
Just the transcript could be released. The legal challenge would be in the form of if grand jury materials were to be released, because the law requires that they be kept secret. Now, if they are thinking about charging anybody with a crime, the last thing on earth they want to be doing is releasing any transcripts publicly, because that'll out their investigative tactics and techniques. It'll out who their personnel are. It'll out people that they're investigating, and maybe even victims as well. So that's one big step. But to step back, the idea of this meeting happening at all, we really should name and identify as a huge, huge, huge problem. The FBI director runs a law enforcement agency. He's not a cabinet official. Yes, he was politically appointed, and I understand that's how it works. But there's a long tradition of separation between our law enforcement entities and our Justice Department and the political leadership in the White House. It goes back to Republican and Democratic administrations. So the FBI director, the Deputy Attorney General, and the Attorney General really have no business doing PR damage control with the White House on what really is a political matter for them.
How unusual is it for the FBI director to go to the White House, period, the end?
It's pretty remarkable. Now, maybe if there's, if you're a post office or something like that, a ceremonial event they might do together with political leadership. But it's very, very rare, and with good cause, because when you talk about law enforcement, you're talking about taking people's freedom away, putting them in jail. These are questions that really you don't want, at least the impression that the White House has a thumb on the scale of. It's just the impression. It's just what the public takes away from it. And I understand that the president appoints the FBI director and the attorney general and the deputy attorney general. Fine, I get it. Like, they're politically appointed. But once they get into that role, they really ought not be at these political meetings. It just, and you see it, every time it comes up, it's really a big problem. And people should not get used to this being something that we see every day.
Fair point. Governor Walker, why is it, do you think, that the White House is interested in putting out the conversation between Todd Blanche and Ghislaine Maxwell?
Well, you've heard me say this repeatedly here. I think whether you're Democrat, Republican, left or right, people want transparency. They want to know what's going on. They want to know the circumstances. And to the point about grand juries and otherwise, if that's the case in some of this information, then explain why. Explain what's being withheld and why. But for anything else, this transcript or otherwise, I'd say get it out there. The American people want to know. They don't want to feel like there's some sort of privilege protecting people.
But all of it, not
Absolutely.
selectively some of it.
Well,
and I think that's the thing that can cause them.
And it's not a partisan issue.
I think that can cause them problems if they selectively choose parts of it and don't give other parts of it. Then that's going to create a whole other problem.
I totally agree. You want to get out, with the exception of obviously if there's the court's ordering some part of a grand jury, but even in that instance, explain what it is that is restricting any more than that. But, we were just on yesterday, and Republicans, when the Democrats then say, they're withholding, or vice versa. I think people across the board want to hear. They just want it all out there, put as much as you can, and whatever you can, explain why.
The way to do it would be a checkers speech. Remember Richard Nixon sitting down, looking the American people in the eye and saying, this is what my finances are, this is what the truth is, this is what I can tell you, and this is what I cannot. No one has done that yet. No one, the Attorney General, the President, haven't looked into a camera and said, look, this is what we have in grand jury that we can't make public. These are what we might be able to make public, and this is what we should not make public. They have not done that.
Yeah, but I think that would make it worse. I take your point, but unless they're going to put it all out there.
Better than what they have now,
I mean,
right?
Or
maybe.
Put nothing out, right?
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
choosing to put nothing out. This is going to be taught in future political communications operatives schools as a textbook case on how not to handle a PR crisis.
Right.
A PR crisis of their own making. Every day they make news on it, and every day they make it worse. This Governor and I, bipartisan agreement here. Put it out. Put all of it out as much as you can.
Unfortunately, we are out of time for this ongoing conversation. Don't